The person who leaves the stable partner for the one who will hurt them again does not do it because they are confused. They do it because the stable partner has stopped feeling like a person. They have become a concept: safety, reliability, the absence of threat. The brain that was wired in chaos does not recognize absence as a feature. It recognizes it as a void. And a void is not a person. It is a question mark. It is the space where the old danger used to be. You have watched this happen. The moment the stable partner stops being a source of tension, they become invisible. Not in the way that a stranger is invisible. In the way that air is invisible. You breathe it, but you do not taste it. You do not crave it. You do not wonder if it will leave. The unstable partner, on the other hand, is never invisible. They are a series of micro-dramas. Every text, every silence, every cancelled plan is a data point. The brain that was trained to predict abandonment treats these as vital signs. It is not that you enjoy the pain. It is that the pain is the only thing that feels like proof you are still alive. This is not about attraction. It is about recognition. The nervous system does not trust what it cannot map. And it has no map for peace. It has maps for betrayal, for inconsistency, for the slow withdrawal of attention. Those maps are detailed. They include the exact weight of the silence, the precise temperature of the room when the other person stops looking at you, the way your stomach drops when the message goes from read to delivered without a reply. The brain that was raised in unpredictability does not just tolerate these moments, it requires them. They are the only language it understands. The origin is not mysterious, it is mechanical. A child who grows up in a household where love is conditional, where attention is a reward for performance, where safety is never guaranteed, this child does not learn that stability is possible. They learn that stability is a trick, a trap, a moment of calm before the next storm. The brain, in its relentless efficiency, wires itself to expect the storm. It does this because the storm is predictable in its unpredictability. The calm, on the other hand, is a blind spot. A child who is praised only when they are sick, or only when they are quiet, or only when they are not demanding anything. This child does not associate safety with presence. They associate it with absence. The absence of need, the absence of demand, the absence of self. This wiring does not disappear in adulthood. It adapts. The adult version of this child does not seek out chaos because they are self-destructive. They seek it because it is the only environment in which their nervous system knows how to function. The healthy relationship does not feel like a relationship. It feels like a simulation. The partner who does not play games, who does not withdraw, who does not make you earn their attention, this partner does not activate the survival circuits. And if those circuits are not activated, the brain assumes they are not working. It assumes the system is broken. It assumes the threat has been missed. And so it searches for the threat. It finds it in the one place it knows how to look, in the familiar patterns of instability. This is not limited to romantic relationships. The same mechanism plays out in friendships, in careers, in self-concept. The person who cannot tolerate a job where they are valued for their competence will find a job where they are constantly proving themselves. The person who cannot tolerate a friendship where they are not needed will find a friend who is always in crisis. The person who cannot tolerate a version of themselves that is not in pain will sabotage their own healing. The brain does not distinguish between external and internal threats. A stable job, a stable friendship, a stable sense of self, these are all the same void. They are the absence of the familiar tension. And the brain, in its efficiency, treats absence as danger. The intelligent person's version of this is particularly insidious. They have read the books. They know the terms. They can explain their own behavior with precision. They say they are working on it. They say they are aware. They say they are trying. What they are actually doing is using the language of self-awareness to avoid the discomfort of change. The vocabulary becomes a shield. It allows them to name the pattern without disrupting it. They can say, "I have an anxious attachment style," and feel as though they have done something. They have not. They have only given the pattern a name. A name does not change the wiring. It only makes the wiring feel more legitimate. The high achievers' version is different. They do not seek out chaos in their personal lives. They seek it in their work. They take on projects that are impossible, They set deadlines they cannot meet. They surround themselves with people who are unreliable. They do this because the chaos is the only thing that makes them feel alive. The stable project, the reliable team, the predictable outcome, these do not activate the survival circuits. They do not provide the rush of adrenaline that comes from solving a problem at the last minute. The high achiever does not want to be bored. They want to be needed. They want to be the one who fixes the crisis. They want to be the hero. And so they create the conditions for heroism. They do not do this consciously. They do it because their nervous system requires it. The cost is not what you think. It is not the obvious pain of the unstable relationship, the failed project, the sabotaged friendship. The real cost is the slow erosion of the self. The person who cannot tolerate stability does not just avoid it, they dismantle it when it appears. They do this because stability requires something they do not have, a belief that they are worthy of it. The brain that was wired in chaos does not trust worthiness. It trusts performance. It trusts the ability to endure. It trusts the capacity to survive the next storm. It does not trust peace. And so, when peace arrives, the brain assumes it is a mistake. It assumes the other person does not see the real you. It assumes the job is not challenging enough. It assumes the friendship is not deep enough. It assumes that if they knew the truth, they would leave. And so, to prove that the peace is real, the brain creates a storm. It picks a fight. It sabotages the project. It withdraws. It does this to test the other person, to see if they will stay, to see if they are real. And when the other person does not leave, when they do not abandon, when they do not punish, the brain does not feel relief. It feels panic. It feels exposed. It feels like it has been caught in a lie. And so it creates another storm, and another, until the peace is gone. The rare exception is the person who understands that the pattern is not a flaw. It is a survival strategy. They do not try to fix it. They do not try to rewire it. They learn to tolerate the discomfort of stability. They learn to sit with the void. They learn to trust that the absence of threat is not a trick. This is not easy. It requires a kind of faith that the brain wired in chaos does not have. It requires the belief that safety is not a trap, that worthiness is not a performance, that peace is not a void. This is not a matter of willpower. It is a matter of rewiring. And rewiring is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. It is the decision to stay when the brain says leave. It is the decision to trust when the brain says doubt. It is the decision to believe in the absence of proof. Most people do not do this. Most people do not even try. They become aware of the pattern. They name it. They talk about it. They may even feel guilty about it, but they do not change it. Because change requires something they do not have: the willingness to sit with the discomfort of the unfamiliar. The brain that was wired in chaos does not want to sit with discomfort. It wants to act. It wants to solve. It wants to fix. It does not want to wait. It does not want to trust. It wants proof. And proof, in this case, is the storm. The familiar storm, the one it knows how to survive. From outside the mechanism, what is most striking is not how often it fails people. It is how reliably it protects them from the terror of the unknown. The brain that was wired in chaos does not fear pain. It fears peace. It fears the absence of tension. It fears the possibility that the storm might not come. Because if the storm does not come, then what? What is left? The void. The unknown. The place where the old maps do not work. The place where the brain has to learn a new language. And learning a new language is harder than surviving the storm. Because surviving the storm is familiar. It is what the brain knows how to do. It is what it was built for. The new language, on the other hand, is a risk. It is a leap into the unknown. And the brain that was wired in chaos does not take leaps. It calculates. It survives. It endures. The person who leaves the stable partner for the one who will hurt them again is not making a mistake. They are making a calculation. They are choosing the known over the unknown. They are choosing the storm over the void. They are choosing the wound over the cure. Not because they want to be hurt, but because the hurt is the only thing that feels real. The cure, on the other hand, feels like a dream. And dreams, to the brain wired in chaos, are not to be trusted. They are to be tested. They are to be broken. They are to be survived until the next storm comes, and the next, until the pattern is so familiar that it feels like home, until the wound is the only thing that feels like love.